Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Friedman Adventures morning briefing. It is great to be back with you all again. You know, just walking along the beach here this morning, I get the feeling that something really big is going to happen today. And in fact, fishing has really taken off here recently. We're going to talk a lot about albacore, bluefin tuna, barracuda, white sea bass, sand bass, and the nice weather we've been blessed with. We'll cover some surf fishing also. I've got to think that rod back there is going to get bit because it looks perfect. We've got high tide here this morning, and look at that ocean. There's not a breath of wind here this morning, and it is flat, gorgeous, calm. There's no wind anywhere when you've got conditions like this, and that is providing some excellent fishing opportunities for absolutely everybody. I want to give a shout out to Gary Kwan at Taddy Lures. Gary's been tuning in the morning briefing and in fact contributing to it and making it so much better. Sam De La Torre and his great crew down there at Island Fishing Tackle in beautiful Carson, California. And all the guys at Blacktail Hooks who are tuning into the show, as well as so many others of you. We deeply appreciate it. Starting to head toward 100,000 views in the last 28 days. Every day we tick off, it gets higher and higher and higher, and now exceeding 12,000 hours of content consumed by you in the last 28 days. Can't thank you enough. All right, I'll shut up about all of that and get into what you really want to talk about. Let's start with Ensenada, because those guys down there, the Pongueros, are doing really, really well. Arnie Man. Arnie's a great guy. He's a good friend of mine. He runs there a pond out of Ensenada, 160-pound bluefin tuna for Arnie as they continue to troll around with those Mad Max. That seems to be the preferred method down there, and they have been scoring consistently for quite some time now. Some really nice bluefin tuna. How can you beat that? I love driving across the border. I love the culture of Baja, California. I love the whole thing. And jumping on a ponga down there or one of the sport fishers is a thrill. And that's what Dennis Luang and Joe Sarmiento did also here recently. I've got to make a comment about Dennis. We fed and took down clothing and more food to several hundred hotel workers from the Del Mar Inn and other hotels, Plaza Azteca and Tijuana. Hotel workers are really having a tough time earlier on during the pandemic, and Dennis provided so much great seafood for all of those folks. So karma does exist, and it does come around. And Dennis, I thank you for doing that. Check it out, Joe and Dennis, with some great fishing down there in Baja, California, in Ensenada. So that is headed in the right direction. And once again, we're going to have another big giveaway here shortly in Baja. So many of you are donating. Just took over another nice load of stuff to Gallagher Staging in La Mirada. Gallagher's so kind to warehouse all this, and then we will pay to ship it down to Baja and distribute it to some people who really need your help. And once again, we can't do this without you. This is all you. This is this country, the Americans here, the people that reach their hands across the border and help others in need. So I am stoked about that. All right, that San Diego fleet, they're kind of fishing different areas, but most of it is up there in U.S. waters now. And that bite, still very, very good. Excellent fishing, especially at night. Several long-range boats with big-time numbers of limits of bluefin tuna up there in that neck of the woods. We do see some smaller fish now. A lot of this, I want to call it 18 to 50, 30 to 50 mostly. But don't get lulled into a state of complacency. Don't go to sleep on me and just bring your 30 or 40 pound down there, because, I mean, first of all, this is very fluid. It changes like that. And all of a sudden, you're catching these small fish one day, and then you're into these 150 to 200 plus pound bluefin. So you still need to bring some heavy tackle. Having said that, don't leave your 30 and 40 pound at home. Some fluorocarbon leaders. You know, we like Opsin. Pardon me. www.opsinusa.com. Put in FA at checkout. You'll get a free gift and a handwritten note from Greg Brown. But I'm telling you, you do have to bring the heavy stuff because it is still really important. Pacific Islander limits of bluefin tuna. Big score for them. Several other boats with limits. and there were some misses. Yesterday, the boats that leave at 6 a.m., 5:30 a.m., you know, the San Diego, the Liberty, the Grande, Malahini, all those guys, man, oh man, did they have a long day. Most of them, if not all of them, didn't catch fish until late in the day. And we know that because Mark Mungares was on board the Grande, and he said they didn't catch a fish until 6 p.m. Working so hard out there and really working hard. He was on board the Grande. Incidentally, Mark said that Grande crew is outstanding. Really did a great job, and being that I respect Mark and his opinion and trust him very much, take it to the bank. Sounds like the Grande, and especially Tony on deck, he said she was fantastic. Great customer service, knows her stuff, and he thought that Tony's knots brought a little bit of luck to them. So late day on board the Grande and several other boats, kind of a bottom of the ninth kind of situation. On board the Grande, 27 guys, 6 bluefin tuna. Mark said a lot of sinker fish on that trip, so it was mostly all sinker. Liberty, 24 guys, 16 bluefin tuna. Nice hit for them, not bad at all. They said 40-pound fly line was effective, as well as 80 to 100-pound tackle with a sinker rig, also very effective. San Diego, same thing, late bite, 14 bluefin tuna. So that bluefin is still around, a little bit later bite. The nighttime fishing seems to be best. Jigs that are working really, really well are the flat falls. Of course, the knife jigs get you down. They're a lot quicker. Daiwa Zakana lures working well, 80 grams, now 120 grams, sometimes up there to 200 grams. But it seems like a little bit lighter now has been very, very effective. We got really nice weather. So wind and current are really not going to be a problem. It's looking fantastic right now. And also, to make the point, LA Orange County-based boats can get a piece of this, as evidenced again by the Thunderbird out of Davies Lock here in Newport Beach. They had 17 anglers with 26 bluefin tuna. We got, all of us at Friedman Adventures are taking off Wednesday night on the Amigo, and that bodes well for us. We're trying to come up with a game plan, and we'll probably get that game plan Wednesday evening. Talking to Mark Paisano, trying to map this thing out. Looks like there's more and more yellows at San Clemente Island. I'll get into that in a moment with you. Some Seabass over there, and that light switch could go on. If that light switch were to go on, we could hit Clemente and then be on that tuna for the nighttime bite. A really special 2-day. So happy we're full and headed out, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Our next trip with openings on the Pride, we leave on July the 5th, and I think we've got 2 spots open. You want our entire charter list? I'll send it to you. 657-227-6459, and hopefully you'll be able to join us on a trip. Nice hit for the Thunderbird once again. All right, let me start to take apart the islands for you. We'll start down south with Todos Santos Islands off of Ensenada. There's been some yo-yo iron yellowtail taken out there, as well as fish starting to feed on the surface, but most everybody's driving by the islands. I mean, they're out catching these beautiful bluefin that you saw Dennis and Joe and my friend Arnie catch down there. They're driving right by there. There's lings being taken and rockfish, but again, most people are driving by. Get up to the Coronado Islands. There's been a few yellowtail taken there, but just a few. And again, same kind of a thing. Everybody's driving by it and heading out and catching copious amounts of bluefin tuna. And how can you blame people? This is not gonna last forever. At least I don't think it is. It's starting to make me wonder some days, because it just repeats itself, and the bluefin seem to have taken up residence here, and they're following the exact same pattern as before. We'll continue to watch this for you very, very closely. And boy, I got to tell you, loving what is going on with that bluefin. But once again, Coronado Island, same thing. All right, San Clemente Island, there's some yellows there. There's some sea bass there. There's Big Bonita there. The light switch is not on yet, but I got to tell you, on board the Fury yesterday, Valerie Hangdus with a great big white sea bass. Val is very special to all of us in Southern California. Her and her husband did a great podcast with it, but she was on board the Fury yesterday, and she looked at everybody and said, everybody's fishing dropper loop, don't see any fish yet, I'm gonna try something different. So she did the squid and jig method, and boy, oh boy, did it pay off. Look at that beautiful white sea bass that Val came up with. Congratulations. Really a nice fish. It was on a fibbers strip. The Fibbers Club, great bunch of people who love to fish and do a lot of good things in our community. And Val with a beautiful fish. She said there was a few yellows taken, some rockfish, calico bass, barracuda, bonita, nothing wide open, but still looking pretty darn good. So a nice trip indeed for Val and everybody on board the Fury out of Dana Wharf Sport Fishing. Catalina, there's some knocking going on over there. I've talked to some private boaters who are having great white sea bass fishing at Catalina Island. That island is taking off and really biting well. Some of the sport boats are getting in on this also, and they're also seeing some yellows over there. There's some calico bass and bonita. The water has cleaned up, has warmed up. It's looking much better, and hopefully that's going to continue to head in the right direction. And gorgeous weather right now, and it looks like it's going to continue. May get a bump in the weather on Monday, but the long-range forecast into Wednesday, when we depart on the Amigo, is looking so good, and that means Santa Barbara Island and also San Nicolas Island are on the bite again. Sea bass, yellows, and also lots of halibut at those venues. You can look for that to improve. We've got these beautiful conditions right now, and if you can find a squid nest, that's where the fish are going to be. Find the bait and you'll find the fish, and that certainly is the case right now. Really, really excellent looking water up there. Things are calming down, and I see nothing but really good signal in the coming days. In the Channel Islands, the boats that are fishing out of there, yesterday the Aloha Spirit had to contend with mako sharks eating their white sea bass. As you saw what graced the cover of our video today, it was a mako trying to chew up white sea bass on board the Aloha Spirit. That is a great photo, and just another wonderful thing that you get to witness when out on the water. Although not that wonderful. I mean, if that was my sea bass, I'd be like, what the, give me a break here. Aloha Spirit, 13 white sea bass for 15 guys. A couple boats had limits up there. Some guys just picked at them. Seemed like it backed off a little bit. Still plenty of rockfish and still plenty of fish up there. I mean, you take a look at some of the sonar marks that these guys are on, and there's a lot of sea bass. That's going to come roaring back. Not that it was poor yesterday, but there were some misses, but still excellent fishing, copious amounts of rockfish. The Channel Islands, they've been the epicenter of some of the best white sea bass fishing you'll ever see for the past several years. They're at it again this year. Some of that sea bass, however, as I just mentioned, at Clemente, at Catalina, Santa Barbara, San Nicolas, it's really looking like it could continue to bite, and I think we're just starting to hit our stride. I think this is a year where you'll see white sea bass taken right up until probably August. It really looks like that. I suspect that July is going to be a big month for white sea bass. It's just panning out that way and looking really great. So still some excellent fishing, no question about it. I mentioned albacore right up front. There's a couple of commercial boats, hundreds and hundreds of miles from here, but in an entirely different area. And they just started to catch some albacore in an area that was not fished last year because most of the fish were north. So this bodes well for the albacore observations we've been making with you also. Looking like things are starting to come together, and hopefully we'll see more and more of it. I know a lot of you are like, oh, here he goes with that albacore nonsense again. We're just watching it, trying to report to you, remaining very optimistic, still predicting albacore off the Baja coast or San Diego this year. The door seems to be open. The highway seems to be wide open in terms of conditions. We're seeing fish in an area that we didn't see, so that is also looking good. Let's talk the coast right now. Down there on the Premier out of San Diego, they had a sea bass. There's more and more calicos being taken down there in that neck of the woods. Moving up around Dana Point, more and more calico bass, a few sand bass also being taken. So that is really starting to progress. But again, right here off the Long Beach area, San Pedro area, really great fishing for the Victory again, who started this whole thing 3 days ago, fishing with live squid or fresh dead squid and a lead head. Limits again on board the Victory, and I don't know how you can beat it. Really great fishing. Marcus Fain, great guy, and he is all over the fish all the time. with a wonderful day on board the Victory, raved about the fishing, and said it was just a really, really spectacular and special day. Mitch over there on the City of Long Beach limits of sand bass. And just to make it clear to you, and hey Mitch, it's been a long time. Just to make it clear to you, Mitch didn't have 3 people and limits of sand bass. He had 38 people with limits of sand bass. Victory, same thing. Lots of people, lots of sand bass. It is so good to see that going on, and hopefully that will continue. Also, Enterprise in on this. Great fishing, leadhead and squid for the most part. You can fish a dropper loop also. It is rocking and rolling right now and biting very, very, very well. So that is great to hear. All right, along the surf, I've already seen the guy behind me before I got here catch several yellowfin croaker. Now, he's digging up sandworms. He's putting in the work to do it, fishing the sandworms, and he's been doing really, really well. Hopefully that thing goes up. But I was already here and saw very good yellowfin croaker fishing going on. Hopefully there'll be some spot fins. Also had a corvina or 2, so that's looking good. And it doesn't surprise me because Jeff Waite was out recently fishing with Trifecta Surf, and those guys came up with barred perch, yellowfin croaker, and they also had corvina. So really, really nice. And Jeff, glad to see you're recovering from knee surgery and doing better. I know you love to get out on the surf, the water, and do your thing. As does Anthony Villaria, who got out for a little session in the afternoon and also caught some barred perch. Anthony says it's therapeutic, and he's so right about that. That's one of the benefits of being blessed with everything we have to offer here. So things are really progressing along really well. I've only got a few more days in my prediction about local barracuda somewhere exploding. I see bird schools of barracuda out there. I see tatty lures getting tossed out there. I see people winding on them and getting bit. There's nothing like catching gar on the iron, and I see that happening here very, very soon because we see barracuda from down there around Todos Santos to the University Point area in Baja, California, up to San Diego, and all the way up to the Channel Islands. We see barracuda all through there. We haven't had a huge hit by any stretch of the imagination quite yet, but hopefully that's going to kick into gear here really, really soon. All right, everybody, can't thank you enough for your great support in everything that we do, from the morning briefing to the long form podcast with that one with David Maestro the other night, our live show. It was really great. And of course, all of your help to help us in Baja, California, all of that is deeply appreciated by yours truly. And our soaring statistics, well, we have only one person to thank, and that is you. Thank you so very much. Have a great morning. Thanks for joining me and spending a few moments with me with that hot cup of coffee. And of course, we'll be back with lots more all week long, every single day. For everybody here at Friedman Adventures, I think that's me. Take care. Have a great day, everybody.